My sisters made it clear they never wanted a brother. Now they expect me to babysit their kids. I'm 24 male, the youngest of my parents' 3 kids. My older sisters are Sarah, 28, and Liv, 26. Sarah and Liv were BFFs growing up, always together. Shared everything. The whole TV trope of close sisters. That was my sisters. The other part that was very TV-like was their any-boy rhetoric, and specifically anti-brother. They never liked me being near them, and they'd always say I was embarrassing to them, that I was gross, which I wasn't dirty or anything, that they wanted sisters and not brothers, that boys weren't allowed to play whatever games they were playing. It hurt my feelings as a kid, and they were punished for being cruel on occasion. Not all the time, but it happened a few times, and I know our parents got concerned enough to try therapy. Both individual for us all and family therapy together. It was in family therapy when my sisters loudly proclaimed they would never love me, or they said boys are disgusting and nobody wants the man. They wanted someone to come and take me away forever, so they never had to see me again. My parents put a lot of focus into giving me outside focus too, so the stuff with my sisters wouldn't destroy me. It wasn't always perfect. I did wish at a younger age that my sisters would care, but I had friends, hobbies, activities, and stuff to keep me distracted, and my parents kept working on my sisters' treatment of me, because it went beyond just not being close. Their attitude toward me didn't change. I was very much in the not family camp when Sarah got married, and when Sarah and then Liv started having babies. I wasn't included or invited to anything, even to meet their kids when they were born. I wasn't sent any announcements. My parents and other family got those. I'm not even their social media friend or follower. They both have accounts set to permission needed to follow. I'm truly over it and them by now. I know nothing will change, and honestly I don't want to screw the whole don't hold kids actions against them, because they haven't been kids for years. Now they have some kids that are a bit older, and both sisters want to work. They tried to share a nanny and babysitter, but I guess they got tired of paying for both on different occasions. So they approached me to be a babysitter. They told me I should help take care of their kids since I'm supposed to be family or whatever. I asked if they were serious, and then I rolled my eyes hard at them. They said I had a crappy attitude. I told them they could take care of their own kids, and they wouldn't be using me after 24 years of wanting my existence to go away. They accused me of being as bad as them for responding in the way I did. Am I the idiot? Karma came so fast, lol. Not the idiot. They told you they didn't want you in their family and went out of their way to exclude you even as adults. You owe them nothing. They are basically strangers to you who happen to be related to your family, and accusing you of being as bad as them is absurd. They got their wish. No brother. They should deal with it. They treated OP like he's Cinderfella. My main concern is if they had any sons, seeing as they hate boys and all that. Though obviously they don't hate boys enough not to have procreated, but seriously I hope they're decent to their kids, as they have no track record of decency. Yeah, I wondered how they reconciled their boys' a gross attitude with their husbands. They don't hate boys, they were just bashing OP. They made their choice from the start, even after the parents tried to help. They literally excluded him from family gatherings, weddings, etc. OP has never been treated as family by them, and absolutely should not act like family now. The audacity of these women. They're happy to disown you and pretend you existed just because they felt like it until they needed something from you. I do not give in to them, and set boundaries with your parents if they get involved and start asking to keep the peace because family. I want to poke my eyes out every time I see a story ends with that. This has been an ongoing issue that I've talked to her multiple times about. My wife makes less money than me and is the type of person who prefers to make her own gifts for people. The issue is she will even do this if the person doesn't want this. I'll use myself as an example. For the past few years she's made every single gift I've been given. No matter what I asked for, I got a homemade gift. It doesn't matter if it was cheap or not. Last Christmas I asked for a few things and I got a homemade scarf. I always get her stuff she wants. I've talked to her about this multiple times. My birthday was yesterday, and I asked her to give me a book. It was only $25, and I sent her the link. I opened the gift, and she made some homemade bookmarks. It wasn't even the type of bookmark I liked. They were from fabric and I liked the wooden ones. I must have made a face because she asked what was wrong. I told her I didn't want these. I made what I actually wanted clear, and I've talked to her so many times. I handed them back and went out to buy the book. We had a big fight when I returned. She claimed I was being ungrateful and a jerk. Am I the idiot for returning my wife's homemade birthday gift and telling her I don't want it? I then went out and bought what I actually wanted. Edit: she makes about $40,000 before taxes. She has enough money to buy a $25 book. Not the idiot. This is like the scenario where a boyfriend or husband buys a woman lingerie for her birthday. It's not really a gift for the recipient. It's a gift for the giver. She thinks gifts should be homemade, so that's what she wants to give her husband, regardless of the fact that he's given her very low-cost options for things he would like to receive. I'm not one to be on the double standard bandwagon here, but I believe that this is genuinely one of those times when if the roles were reversed it would be a very obvious not the idiot verdict. And the husband would be crucified in the comments. $25 book is not an extravagant expense. Sounds like this was the straw that broke the camel's back. The book you asked for plus the homemade bookmarks would have been a nice gift. Next year for her birthday, make a macaroni necklace. My ex used to do this. It's not about the gift. It's about her intentionally and without remorse overriding your requests. Her behavior is dismissive, and that crap will breed resentment, and resentment kills relationships. Gift giving should be about the recipient. A gift is a tangible representation of our care and appreciation of a person. It should be catered to the recipient's preferences. Hopefully her disregard for your preferences isn't malicious, but either way she's basically saying I know better than you, which really sucks, especially from a loved one. I'm pretty confused about this and self-conscious about asking anyone. I recently started work at a large financial firm on the East Coast. Everyone dresses well and the dress code is business professional. A lot of the women wear heels. I do it because it's a really easy way to make you look more dressed up. My go-to heels are pretty standard and boring, lol. They're basically all the same pumps but in different colors that aren't too tall and comfortable to walk in. Anyway, I made a new friend at work named Casey, and I noticed that she would make a face whenever we walked together down the hallway. A few weeks ago she started power walking ahead of me, saying OMG, I'm too embarrassed to be walking with you, and you sound like a horse stomping because of my heels clicking on the tiles. Since then I've been self-conscious and embarrassed whenever I hear my heels tapping through the hallway. I still wear them occasionally, but I've been feeling uncomfortable whenever Casey gives me that look, and she really does seem genuinely bothered. The only reason I feel prompted to ask is because I recently experienced another incident where I ran into an acquaintance co-worker in line for coffee with another co-worker. The first co-worker, without looking at me, commented to the other person about how she doesn't understand how some people just wear heels all the time, and maybe the Casey thing is making me hyper-focused on this, but it seemed pointed at me. Both of these co-workers were wearing sneakers and I was the only one in heels. Am I the idiot for continuing to wear them even though it seems to be bothering some co-workers? Should I stop? Am I committing some kind of faux pas? I'm confused because there are hundreds of employees and many other women who wear heels too. I also don't see Casey or the other co-worker too often because we're all on different floors, but I don't mean to make anyone uncomfortable either. What does Casey want you to do? Should you wear slippers? Who can't walk next to someone who's making a noise? What a weirdo. Not the idiot. Buy a pair of bright red heels and wear them every Friday. Casey is a friend in inverted commas, not a friend. I wear heels and recently someone commented on the noise when I walked down the tiled hall. I literally laughed and said, I know, I'll start neighing soon. We both laughed and moved on. Own it, OP. Screw the haters. They're irrelevant. Honestly, it sounds like Casey is just projecting her own insecurities and trying to drag you down. If you like wearing heels and they fit the dress code, just keep rocking them. There will always be someone with something to say, so focus on what makes you feel confident and remember to click those heels. Same as no place like home. You know what? There is no sound I find more empowering than the clack 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 of heels on the tile of a fancy office building foyer. I absolutely love it. And it's honestly one of the things I've actually missed since going fully remote. That clack let me and the world know that I'm a badass business witch, who's about to go nail that presentation with leadership today. I think it's kind of about taking up space and being loud and direct, and not making yourself small and invisible. I'm here and you're gonna know it's me and I'm in charge. We're so socialized as women to not be disruptive, and that clack pushes that boundary. I, 63 male, lost my first wife Annie to cancer 28 years ago, when our daughters Kendra and June were pre-tween. We'd done pretty well for ourselves, so when Annie was terminal we put all her assets into a trust that I managed. With my guidance it's done even better. It generates about $45,000 in income every year now. I got remarried when Kendra and June were young teens. Since June finished undergrad, my wife Miranda and I have kept the $45,000 income from the trust. I've built up quite a legacy for when I pass. My wife and my daughters will be splitting the profits of 5 houses. Annie's trust, the trust I made at the same time, and my investments. Kendra and June will be pretty comfortable. June was dog sitting for us in July, because she's a teacher and we need to schedule our vacations around her. She called me up demanding I explain why she and Kendra haven't been given the income from the trust. She claimed she was looking for Annie's old writing, which does sound like something she would do. I don't think she was snooping to snoop. She's always been a sweet kid. I told her the trust would be split between her and Kendra when I die, but I want her to keep giving Miranda the $45,000 a year. She asked what my wife had to do with that money. I told her it was my prerogative to determine how my money would be distributed. June argued that it wasn't my money but Annie's money and her stepmother had nothing to do with it. She complained that Miranda has a job in luxury sales and I have my pension and investments, but both she and Kendra are on food stamps. I admit that they are. Kendra because she's bad with money. June because she has medical problems. I told June that she would be set for life but she said I was acting like a greedy idiot. She says she and her sister should split the income from their mother's trust now. I told her that it wouldn't be anywhere near as much to split if I hadn't managed it so well. She started sobbing about how the $22,000 a year would change her life and let her get medical care while I was just sitting on it. I can admit that June has never been selfish or money motivated. She works hard and does a lot for the family, or she used to, but I really do not understand why she feels so entitled to get this money that wouldn't even be here without me while I'm still here. Annie's will and trust leave me in charge of everything, until I pass. I used to pay for Kendra and June's college, so they only had to use their part-time jobs to buy books and school supplies. Frankly, I think June is being a bit of an idiot herself. OP, you really need to consult a lawyer. A good one. A trust is not a piggy bank for trustee to spend however he or she likes. What does the trust say the money is to be used for? Trusts are established with specific beneficiaries in mind. I cannot in a million years imagine your late wife establishing a trust for you to support your current wife. If your daughter's lawyer is up and asks for an accounting in court, you might be in for a tirun. Either way, you're sort of an idiot for supporting your current wife with money that was intended for your daughters. You are the idiot. A big one. But he's the one who took a large sum of money and made it bigger. I'm pretty sure his late wife would love to know he's more worried about himself and his current wife living nicely than her daughters, whom he apparently doesn't really give a crap about. Isn't that what trusts are for anyway? Luckily for him, he has all the money and they haven't got a lawyer to look into it yet. And one daughter with medical issues. What the heck, dude? I hope your departed wife haunts you. I find it hard to believe that a dying woman wouldn't include her minor children as beneficiaries of a trust. I remember when I was writing my will, my therapist warned me about exactly this. She said if women don't fence off their assets for their children, it often goes to second families instead. Your wife's intention was very likely to provide a legacy for her daughters, not you. They lost their mom when they were pre-tween for sake. She tried to do what she could to set them up for the best life possible, without her. And you betrayed her wishes and her memory. My divorce was finalized 2 years before my middle daughter got married. My ex-husband already had a new girlfriend lined up. And the day the judge signed the divorce papers, he asked the girls if they were okay with him dating again. Mind you, he moved to another state, and the girls wouldn't have even known he was dating. He invited the girls to his new place for a weekend, and when they got there, his new girlfriend was there. My daughters were uncomfortable and upset that he hadn't intended to spend any time with them without his new girlfriend in attendance. After that, he began to distance himself from our 3 daughters and soon started a new family. He was remarried within 8 months, and the first child was born the following year. I maintained a good relationship with the girls as much as I could. They were all grown and either lived on their own or in college. When one of my daughters told me she was getting married and wanted me and not her father to walk her down the aisle, I was overjoyed. I was in the moment and didn't care at all about how this would affect her father. He chose not to help her out with the wedding at all, and then told her that his buying a plane ticket to be at the wedding was her wedding gift. At the wedding, he and his new family sat at the far end of the first row of seats. I had the first seat and their table was mixed in with the other guests. My table was right next to the head table. After walking my daughter down the aisle, I looked at him and smiled as big as possible. I know it bothered him that she chose me and not him. Nothing else matters as long as my daughter is happy on her special day. I'm interested to know if I'm an idiot. Certainly not the idiot. Enjoy that triumph. And while I would never be that guy, your ex sounds a lot like an old co-worker. Same story. He had a family, was an idiot, divorced, moved away, remarried and had a new family. He's still an idiot. The oldest daughter got married, and he wasn't even invited. He complained about it for a couple of days, then moved on because he was still busy with the new family. Don't let that take any triumph away though. He's still the idiot in the story. Old family, new family, same idiot. Just the line about how his being at the wedding was his wedding present just sums up this guy. He destroyed his relationship with your daughters all on his own. He couldn't even be bothered to buy a wedding gift, because he's so narcissistic that he believes his selfish presence is a presence. If he had been a better father, he would have been the one to walk your daughter down the aisle. Why should you care about his feelings? He is no longer your problem to deal with. Thank goodness you got a divorce.